Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we're back on the 86 Dodge D150 pickup that we are seeing if we can paint for under $500. Now, obviously, we're not talking about labor, but we are talking about the cost of the materials, which is the primer and the sandpaper, and including the paint. If you've not visited this series before, we are using a water-based paint by Magic, which is an automotive paint, but it's very different from other automotive paints and quite inexpensive. We have already painted the door jambs, the inside of the doors, and so forth. And the paint works really nice and it looks really good. My buddy that owns this truck was out here a week or so ago and he looked it over and thought it looked outstanding. He really liked it. So that's good. So today we're doing the job that I've been putting off, that I've been dreading, that I haven't felt like doing. Plus, I've been not having good back issues and I think I've got that sorted out. So today we are going to prep the inside of the cab, the absolute worst part of the whole job as far as I'm concerned. We're going to get that prepped and ready to paint so that we can shoot the inside of the cab and then get everything ready to paint the outside of the cab. Not the most exciting episode in the world, I know, but I'll try to make it interesting and interject some stupid jokes and other things to keep you entertained through the process. But the main point here on this channel is sharing in detail what it takes to do the real work, not just to come here for a 15-minute video and see a rust bucket come in and a painted vehicle go out, although this wasn't a rust bucket. So that's the point here. It's about spending the day here in the shop with me. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
A lot of this shouldn't be too bad because there's a lot of flat surfaces, so it's only the edges that we need to worry about. And I'm not going to be priming this. We're just going to scuff it and shoot it. We won't get the painting done today. That will come later, and I have a reason for that we'll get into also. But today it's going to be getting it all sanded down, and we already cleaned it in the last episode, so it's just going to be a matter of getting it sanded down and scuffing it. We're not worrying about filling in all the little chips and so forth. This is not a show truck. It is a work truck. Now, if you've been on this series before, you'll have heard me say that 10,372.6 times, and I'll probably continue to say that to remind people that it's just a work truck. That's all we're doing. We're making a respectable driver vehicle for my buddy to use. He's going to put a big block in it, probably, although I was trying to talk him into putting a Hemi in it the other day, and he said absolutely not. But it was worth a shot. But it's just going to be a fun little driver truck. And so let's stop talking and let's just start rocking. Over the years, I've accumulated a lot of body and paint supplies from painting vehicles for other people. And I was just in my sandpaper drawer realizing I'm starting to run low, and I'm dreading the thought of having to buy all the replacement materials for like airboard and DA, and it's going to be pricey. But at some point here, we're going to have to do that. A lot of this stuff is stuff that a buddy of mine gave me. He used to work in an auto parts, and they were discontinuing a bunch of product lines, and they didn't want the product back. They just wanted him to dispose of it. So he disposed of it at my shop, which I appreciated. And well, I was painting a car for him, so he had motives in that as well. But yeah, this stuff I got a whole bunch more of this 320 grit, which is what I'm going to use in there. And I know they make a special glue for gluing these onto the DA because these are not self-adhesive. These are cheaper, and I'd rather buy a can of glue. I just use Super Trim adhesive. It's absolutely the wrong product, but it works. Just got to remember when you're done to peel it off, and don't leave it on there, or you'll end up with the backing from 10,365.2 other sandpapers. But it's all good. We'll let that dry a little bit, stick it on there, and we'll get in there and get after it. And I've got to find myself, a breathing apparatus thingy to like keep the big rocks out of my lungs and stuff. As I'm looking in here, I see there are definitely some spots of bare metal. We're going to have to with something. I've even thought about just like rattle bombing the whole thing with primer. We'll see what it looks like when we get further along here. It's unfortunate this doesn't have a headliner because this could be super fast if it did, because all we'd have to paint is basically here and the A pillars. But oh well, it is what it is. So I got the back window section done. We're not doing down below because there's a seat that covers it. And I'm going to go out and look at Becky's truck just to make sure we have plenty of coverage, because hers is an 88. That's pretty much the same. And I've got a 91 out back. That's 91 or a 92 out back. That's the same thing. So we got plenty of reference vehicles. But there's a line across the roof up there, and it's done all the way up to that. So we need to just do the top and then down the A pillars. But I want to get some and shoot those bare metal spots. And there was one spot where the mud wasn't real pretty in here. I'm pretty sure that's going to be hidden by the seat. I'll go look at hers and we'll see. I smoothed it out pretty good. It's not perfect, but for what it is, it's probably fine unless it's super visible. Remember, we had to rebuild a lot of that back window section because of rust. So the truck was pretty solid, but there was definitely some spots of rust. If you haven't seen the playlist, there's a whole playlist on this called $500 paint job or 86 truck or something like that. There's another one on painting as well that includes this, but it also includes other paint work we've done. So if you want just this specific project, just go over to playlists and look for the 86 Dodge pickup or $500 paint job or something like that. All right, I'm going to wander out there and look at hers real quick and try to catch my breath, and I'll be right back. And now I got to find my primer. Oh, there's one thing I need is rust converter. We'll get that on there first, but I'm gonna go look at the truck. Then we'll grab the rust converter and hit those little spots. Then we'll get some. Hopefully, I got some gray. Yeah, there's some bare metal in here, and a little bit of rust. So we'll. This is black, but this is just a rust converter, and I know it doesn't completely convert the rust. I get that. What it does is take rust and with a little bit of acid, it turns it into a paintable surface. Yeah, that ain't too bad. And the seat does only come to right here, so that's visible. But I just shot that with black with this stuff, and it's respectable. It's fine. In white, you're hardly going to see it. So good enough for the girls we go with. I got to get some gray primer. I don't have any. But I think that's the only rust spots we need to do. So I want to let that dry. I'm going to go get some lunch, because I've already burned up a big chunk of the morning. And we'll get after from here down to where you guys are. We'll get that done. So I'm going to break it into sections and figure out the easiest way to do it. Whew. Well, I ate way too much, so that's going to make it twice as fun to be in there flopping around. But we're going to go ahead now and try to get the next section, which is the roof section, done. And that'll be the worst of it, because it's all up here and my back is already starting to tighten up. So, but we're just going to grin
and grit our teeth, and we're just gonna dig into it, and we're gonna get it done. Yes, we are.
Come on, let's do. Stop whining. Just come on. Well, we're about halfway there. My back is killing me, and I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you what it's like. And I can only run with my arms up like this. For a while I was doing all right, but starting to get really tired now, and I can only last for about 30 seconds to a minute before I have to put my arms down because I'm not out of shape, but I'm not used to working with my arms like that. So I got this one section done all the way down actually, but I got everything else done and detailed. I got one little spot right there. I see. I got to do a little better there, but some of what we'll do. Whoops. Some of what we'll do. We've got to get the gray primer. I don't have any. I looked around other than mixing some up, and I don't want to do that. This is a rattle can application here. Um, Part of the reason for breaking this up into prep today and then painting another day is it gives me a chance to come back one more time with fresh eyes and fresh fingers when I'm not so tired and cranky and just go over it and look it all over one more time to be sure that everything is copacetic and not so pathetic. What I'm doing is it's if you feel where it's not um, been touched yet, it's real rough, and where it's been touched, it's nice and smooth. And all we're trying to do is knock it down and break the glaze off of it so that that paint has something to stick into. You don't have to necessarily um, prime everything, especially, I mean, your best primer is old paint in many ways if it's prepped properly. So that's kind of what we're about here. And from what I read about that magic um, automotive industrial truck paint, it's pretty sticky. So that's good. It'll stick to things pretty well. It doesn't take a huge amount of prep like other products will to stick. So still looking around for that other gallon. I got the brand new one here, and I know the other one's around somewhere. Haven't found it yet. We will. I don't need it yet. Um, but it's got to take a breather. No, I'm not pretending to be Gene Simmons. I'm just tired. That's why I've been dreading this job. I knew it was going to be. I'll be hurting tomorrow, is what I'm trying to say. But we're getting there. So I'm gonna catch my breath and get the next section of this done, and then all we'll have left to do is the pillars.
No blankets, just pillars.
The roof is all done. We just got to finish it up now. But all the crevices and creases are done, and it's all DA'd down. And all we got left to do is the pillars now. We'll get those done real quick. And I'm going to look around one more time, see if I have any gray primer. But I think all I had was this little can of etch prime, and it's empty. But you never know, so we'll dig around a little bit. But if not, we'll have to make a road trip. I think we got to go get a load of firewood tomorrow so I can stop. This is the reality of paint and body work. When I did this every day, day after day after day, you build up a tremendous amount of strength and endurance for this kind of stuff. Um, but, I'm a desk jockey, so I'm not in the condition I used to be for doing this stuff where I could sand for hours and hours and hours every day. So for the guys and gals that do this every day, hats off to you, because I get it. I've been there, I've done that, and I know how much tremendous hard work this is, especially in a situation like this. So I'm going to take a break, catch my breath, let my muscles try to, get the kinks out a little bit, and then we'll get those pillars done, and we'll be good to go.
Body work. Isn't it fun?
So we're just going to do these by hand. These shouldn't take very long. I believe he's putting a dash out of a 70s truck in this, so it's going to be a little different. I think he's putting a 70s hood, birdbath hood on it also, if I remember what he said. So we'll have to paint the hood, but we're doing the hood satin black. So that'll be nice. When you're sanding, something to be really aware of is edges. Make sure you get those edges sanded good, because if it's going to peel, that's where it's going to happen. It's almost always on those edges. Okay, we don't have to do too much out here, but a little, because that's where the windshield seal settles in. Here's something else I missed is along the inside here. I got to get that. That'll be a hand job.
Steady.
Well, I am so glad that that's over. So we just got to shoot that with some regular sandable primer, scuff that down a little bit. I just talked to the owner about that split line there behind the seat, and he said no problem. He doesn't care if it's painted because it's behind the seat anyway. Maybe when I shoot it, I'll shoot it, but we'll see. But everything else is good to go. Um, yeah, I think we're golden. So I didn't think about kick panels. This doesn't have kick panels. We'll deal with that later as a simple fix to just that with the touch-up gun later on once we get the interior and stuff in to see what needs to be painted down there. So the main thing is getting that whole expanse up there done so that I can get the outside of the truck done, because I don't want to paint the outside of the truck when I have to spray in there, and all of that overspray would get all over the outside of the truck. So we'll get that shot in there, and then we can go ahead and get this. Everything is sanded on this truck, although it needs to be wiped down really good with Prepsol. Everything is sanded except for just this one section. I'll take you back here, but this one section in the back needs to be touched up a little bit. Well, it hasn't been sanded yet, so I got to do that, but that won't take too long. So I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel. This is November 10th, I think, something like that. 11th, 12th. I don't know. Time goes so fast. Um, I'd love to have this thing out of here Thanksgiving weekend. We may get it. We'll see. So you'll see this in December, of course. We're filming for mid-December right now, so this will be coming out December, I don't know, 12th, 15th, something like that. So you'll see it when you see it. But hopefully by the time you see this, this truck is long gone, and the Pro Street GTS or the Oakland. Probably I'll put the Oakland here, and the GTS will be out in the trailer, because we're going to be working on the Oakland all winter, and it makes sense to just, it's a small car. It'll tuck in here nicely and still give me a lot of room. I'm trying to not put a car in here this winter, but my outdoor tent, the tarp blew apart again, so I've got to see if I've got another tarp to put on that. Otherwise, the Sassy Swinger is going to have to go in the back room where I was planning on putting scoops, and scoops will have to come in here. I really don't want to do that, because then I have to be opening and closing the door all winter, and that's a pain in the neck. I was trying to leave that area right there open just for space so we can move stuff around, and well, we'll see. So if I can pick up a tarp, that'll go on there. I need to get the tent canvas for that. It's like $400. Just haven't had the cash. Things are so bad around here right now in the economy for me, and with my business and so forth, that we'll get through it. We always do. But usually by now things are picking up. It's always bad around back to school time, but we'll get there. We always dig out. But all right, that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you being here. Oh, I said I was going to take you back there, so let's do that. So far as I know, everything else is sanded down except for that one section right in there, and I'm not that worried about it, because behind the box, but I don't want paint to peel off in there, obviously. So we'll scuff that up real quick. But other than that, other than touching up some bare metal spots here and there, we should be ready to paint. We're awful close. So I'm thinking 4 more episodes, hopefully, 5 at the most, to get this all done, unless we have problems, and then we'll have to fix some stuff. But there's enough brake lines. Like if we had a problem here, there's a brake line right here that we can shoot this part here without having to shoot the whole truck again. So we'll see. I thought about painting this in pieces also, but I decided that let's just get it all done. And I may change my mind on that, but I don't think so. I think we'll just bite the bullet, get it all done, and be done with it. You guys do realize that once that truck is gone, yeah, the box has to come and get done, and we'll get that done. But that's pretty simple. It's just big flat panels, and if I remember right, the box is in pretty good shape, so shouldn't have a huge amount of body work to do on that. But we're going to be back on fabricating on the Stitches Challenger real soon, and I'm pretty excited about that. I was doing a little welding on something we needed for our outdoor wood burner today, but making a little tool for moving coals around. And it just felt good to be melting metal. And so I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, I appreciate you being here. We are well under budget on our $500 paint job right now. I think we're around 400-ish. So I think we're going to come in fine. I got to go back and look at all the expenses, but I think we're in pretty darn good shape. So I'm going to make a road trip, and got some things to get for supper anyway, because it's pizza night. And if you follow me on Facebook, every Friday is pizza night because my girl likes pizza. So the dough is already going, and I started that this morning. So I got to go punch the dough down, jump in the truck, head to Walmart, come back, and I'll rattle can that real quick. And that'll be it. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, tell other people about the channel. It really is a channel of what I think, giving you a realistic view, not only of the work, but also of the struggle that a person goes through as they're trying to accomplish things like this, and the mental battles, the physical battles, the time battles, the time constraints, the other things in life that get in the way. And I really would like this to be, and this is my intent, and I think this is what we've evolved into more than anything over 4 seasons. You come and spend the day and find out what it's like, and just experience the reality as much as you can in this kind of a venue and format. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Be sure to tell others. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks. Oh, and if you're new here, this is important, and I don't want you to ever forget this one key element, because it's the very thing, besides fat bottom girls, according to what Queen says, it's the one thing that makes the rockin' world go around.
Rock!